Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today we have basically nothing to do. No, I'm just kidding. We're mainly going to be leveling up the Thief Hero class. What I do mean by that though is no new events. This is mainly because of the, I guess the holidays that they are just deciding not to do one this week. But yeah, we have nothing to do today other than whatever we would normally do. So with that being said, we are currently Thief. I'll need to change that for tonight. But until then, we're going to be grinding like crazy to try to get this thing to a higher level, at least 90, hopefully. We'll see how far we get to that. But yeah, obviously we want to get it to 100 sometime in the near future, and that's what we're working towards this weekend, though we do need Titan for tomorrow. Also, speaking of that, we're probably not doing tomorrow's stream on Saturday, mainly just because there isn't really too many other things to do. So we're mainly just going to be grinding today and just enjoying it now, and then have the holidays. But anyways, guys, let's start and getting into that. We're likely just going to be using Key Team the entire time. We're using Thief with it, so it's about as strong as it could possibly be, other than the fact that this isn't level 100 yet. But yeah, we're just going to be messing around with standard Key Team. We could be using Leprechaun. I really do not need the double trade stones, and we're probably better off with the speed that we have from this, so we're likely just going to be sticking with the normal greed with it, and just go from there. Hello, Elite! Hello, Michael! Welcome! Pretty much standard key. Forever blue. Actually, it is standard key, not pretty much. It literally is. Can't get it more standard than that. Arguably the best team in the game at the moment. Hello, Valthar. Welcome. Yeah, someone's using a bunch of chalices. Hey, this is why I said earlier would be the best team to set this week. 4 chalices, or similar variants of that. Luckily, someone listened. Though they were probably doing that anyways. Is there a weekend event? Nope, there is no weekend event. It still occasionally happens. I don't know why. Well, this time it makes a slight amount of sense because it's the holidays. But I don't know why they normally have it when it's not the holidays. Like just a random event out of nowhere, where it's, or a random weekend where there's nothing. They are going to be adding some kind of new event next year that will be probably closing that gap, so that there's never any space in between them. But yeah, there's still currently gaps where ever so occasionally we get a weekend where there's absolutely nothing to do other than the normal things you'd be doing, which is still a lot of stuff to do, but you know, it's not the normal, here's a whole event and go do it kind of thing. It's just, here's the normal game, go do that. Which is still fine, there's still plenty of things we need to do. Just as the fact that we're late game just makes it a lot less things that we could do. Just because most of the things that you would be doing during this time, we've kind of already done, since we have pretty much everything in the entire game. We'll level up Thief, start getting some gold from PvP and all that good stuff. We could use a bigger gold stack. He's almost dead, don't die on us. Skull's gonna be kind of useless. Might as well take that. Oh, oops, it's frozen. Luckily all the extra turns that you killed last slot though, so that's nice. Need to get the last little bit of our mana right there. And that'll be matched. So we'll throw the key down and get a kill. And somehow he's still alive. We'll just throw it with that and boom. Hello, Loro. Hello, D. Hello, Enoch. And yes, Merry Christmas. Or in a few days anyways. How do you get Skeleton Keys? Skeleton Keys obtained from getting the getting the Thief Hero class from Zejin, and then set it as your class, and then win 250 times while you have Thief set. And then once you've won 250 times on Thief, you'll automatically get this weapon for free. But yeah, you basically just have to use this hero class 250 times, or you have to win with it 250 times. It's really easy to do. You can get that done in 3 hours or less. Like the whole cycle of getting it and then getting 250 wins takes 3 hours or less. Hello, Fred. Hello, Avenge. Hello, Watcher. Hello, Belden. Did you do Guild Wars? No, we always do Guild Wars during the nightly stream. We'll be doing that later. It is Blue Guild War today. Generally, Blue Guild War, one of the easier ways is just go Core Vash plus Azura. We're still currently using the Giant team, though, which is why we need to switch back into Giant. Oh, I forget the exact composition off the top of my head. I believe it's Forest Troll. Wow, I actually forget the exact order. It's Forest Troll something, Dawnbringer Hindla. Why can I not remember what second slot is? But that's what we're using for Guild Wars. I'm gonna go double check after this. Alternatively, using Corvash, Azura, anything's pretty strong as well. And really just building anything around Azura is pretty decent. You get her for free from completing out the Melantis Kingdom. So everyone has her, or at least can easily obtain her if you don't currently have her. Yeah, let me double check. Actually, we could easily check this by doing this. So our team is... Where's Guild War Blue? Oh, duh, Azura. Obviously. That's what it was. But yeah, we're using blue, purple into Forest Troll, Azura, Dawnbringer as Titan, not as Thief. It's important that it's Titan because Forest Troll gets half mana and Hinla gets half mana instead of just our hero. And then we just keep spamming Azura, keep spamming Forest Troll into our summon. And we could use this for freeze plus summons. He has Entangle plus Skull Mitigation, so we don't really take much damage. Azura keeps us constantly having mana, plus it gets rid of Barrier and stuff. And Dawnbringer does the inverse of that and gives us Barrier to make sure we don't die. Yeah, it works out pretty nicely. What do we need? Back to Key. Thoughts on Frost Mage and Thief, which is better in different situations? Frost Mage is really good on defending Guild Wars. That's about the only time I'd really use it. It's good because it allows you to use freeze on every single Guild War day. Whereas with the colors, you're kind of restricted, but you can use hero on every day. So there isn't a single day that you wouldn't be able to get away with it. And that's pretty much the only thing that Frost Mage tends to get used for. Guild War defends. In most other situations, I would say Titan, Thief, or any other hero class is better. Yeah, in most other situations, Thief would be stronger than it. Thief does not have that explosion, though, but it does have a lot of damage the last slot. And that normally makes up for it. It also has Stealthy. I don't believe the other one has Stealthy. So they can't actually target our hero. Or at least targetable abilities can't target our hero. We'll take all that skull there. He's about to summon. That's a little bit annoying. I can't really stop that, though. Do we take a brown? Oh, he's using that weird Lust team. Interesting. We might accidentally kill ourselves out on his team if he keeps summoning like that. I'm just going to get mana. We actually have to be careful not to do too much too quick, or else he's just going to Lust kill us, which would be very funny. I've never actually seen that combination before. It actually does work pretty nicely. Oh no, it just transformed one of my things. I think we're about to lose. I don't think I've ever lost to Lust from its actual ability like that. But I think we just did. Interesting. I've never lost to a summon spam Lust team. Mainly because I've never seen a summon spam Lust team. I guess that kind of works. It works as a defend team. I can never see that actually working as a invasion team, though. It'd be way too slow. Can't believe we actually just died to that. Interesting concept, though. Let's see. What about Glitterclaw? Glitterclaw is generally used behind a World Breaker, or really any big green. Oh, we never did do the video on that. I definitely need to do that either today or tomorrow. But it has to happen. We gotta go over Fairy Fire on a Fairy Fire week. It's like the main mechanic that came out. Well, it's not new, but you know. All of them are still in the event key drop table. And there's still time this weekend to go get them. Like, stuff like that is basically the teams I'd be going over. Most of you probably already know them. I still want to do a video on it, though. This is obviously one of them. It's one of the three I wanted to show. Most people know them, but there's still a decent number of people who don't. And they're some of the best teams in the game right now. But they kind of always have been. Yesterday's video should already be up. I'll go double check. It should be already. Is it not? It should be. I'm pretty sure I posted it. I'll go double check. That or I forgot to last night. Let's see. I did go to bed early, so maybe I didn't post it. No, it says it's up. Right, last night was Yellow Day. Day 3 of Guild Wars? Yeah, it should be up. Everything on my end says it's up. For whatever reason, it made a double copy of the one I did on Green Day on Tuesday. I'm not quite sure why I did that. But only one of them is up. I've never seen it actually duplicated it before. That's really strange. And what's even stranger is one of them's a different time frame too. One of them is like 107 minutes and the other is 116. It's weird. Maybe there's some kind of disconnect or something. Yeah, I never actually saw that on Defends. The one that you just mentioned. But yeah, it actually was pretty strong. It ended up winning against us. There's a lot of easy ways to take it out though. Like one being stun. Would be the absolute easiest way to deal with that. But if you're not using a team specifically countering it, I guess that could actually be quite annoying. Thinking about annoying, he might actually win this. Definitely gonna kill first slot. Okay, we don't have enough damage. We'll take that for now. That gets rid of barrier. I don't think there's enough to kill anything though. Oh, never mind, it is. Nice, okay. We'll work with that, get our summon. We just got rid of my key thing. Wish one of them would unsilence already. Otherwise, we gotta kill it with solo egg. Let's see. We'll take that down. He'll kill that. He just killed us! How do we lose? Oh well. Key team, you're supposed to be good. What are you doing? What, should we go bring out Fairy Fire? I almost feel like bringing out Fairy Fire. I think people are just upgrading how good their defend teams are. There's a lot of really weird ones out right now that I haven't seen for pretty much ever. People are starting to run. And the problem is a lot of them are really easy to counter, but they're so different that you would need to use a completely different counter for each. It would waste time to have to keep switching between them. And the other really annoying one too, which we didn't get yet today, is anything with Dragon's Eye. Grimlet Dragon's Eye is super annoying on defense. So annoying that you should pretty much just skip it every time. There are ways to deal with it, but it's still annoying nonetheless, especially if the hero has stealthy, because then you can't single target drain it either. Hello, Travel! Hello, Mr. X. Welcome. But yeah, if anyone has any questions or anything you want me to go over, just let me know. Otherwise, literally this entire stream is pretty much just going to be grinding Thief's EXP. Try to get it max. Well, obviously we're not getting it max this stream, but, you know, bringing it closer towards max. Level 100. And we'll have a redeem code in a little bit as well. Probably once we reach level 89. Hello, Vincent. Welcome. 89 on the hero class. It is not on our hero level. Obviously, our hero level is way beyond that. Actually, what level is Salty's account? Isn't it like level 100 and... Is it even level 100 yet? The one that she keeps using for her streams. The reason it's so low is it never gets played other than whenever they stream. Hello, Bruno. Hello, Carlo. Welcome. Hey, well, we already gained our level. So yeah, we'll give out a redeem code once we hit level 89. And we got an epic ingot. Too bad we can't get that every time. A level and an ingot every time. Specifically an epic one. Oh, speaking about epic ingots, let's go convert all of ours over. I'm pretty sure I don't have too many to do because I haven't been doing as much PvP as of recently. But we should still have a handful of them. Plus we still get them daily. So I'm going to keep all those greens. I'm still hoarding them. I'm not going to convert them yet. But let's convert these upwards into ultra rare. Hopefully that gives us another epic that we can do. Well, at least we can get one. There we go. And, okay, well, apparently only one. How many more do we still need? 2 ultra rares? But, yeah, we have so few of these things. They really need to do something to make this a little bit better. But, let's see, how many epics are we at? We have 170. That is pitiful. We're going to have every legend and mythic weapon maxed before we have even 1/4 the epic weapons maxed. That is pretty sad. Where am I going? Back to Firebomb. Nice that you see some Firebombs. Not as many of them have been around. Mainly because matchmaking fixed it, so everyone setting Firebomb isn't just going to constantly make Firebombs appear. They still appear, of course, because there's still a lot of people that have it. But not as much as it used to be. Hello, JZG! Welcome! And that reminds me, who's been going for the leaderboard these days for PvP? Pretty sure it's still pretty underwhelming, but you could get a lot of epic ingots that way. There's no way we're reaching it. We're way too low. we're basically 67,000th. Let's see, who's actually all the way at the top? I don't really recall any of these names. Most of these. Anyways, what I'm looking for is top 100. More so top 1,000, but let's see, top 100. Yeah, it'd be about what it's always been, about 23, 24k, maybe 25. It's kind of hard to tell because it's still not the end yet. But, yeah, we could just say about 25k is how much it requires to get the free epic ingots. Which is a lot of time to try to get just a few epic ingots. And each one is technically only worth 10 cents. So not really worth spending too much time to go out of your way for them. It's one of the main reasons why I don't want to go all the way out of my way for them. Because it's not really that time efficient at all. It would take us approximately like 20 hours of PvP to get 50 cents worth of them. Which is awful. Of course, we're getting a bunch of other resources while we're doing that. And that other thing is just a little bit extra on top of it, but still. That is a lot of time. Okay, what do we need here? Let's take a yellow for now. Hello, Chris Border. Hello, Wizzo. Welcome, welcome. Oh, you're close to getting all the hero classes maxed. Very nice. Yeah, we're still a ways to go from there. We're more than halfway, but I haven't specifically been targeting trying to do it, other than, like, right now. It's been a while since we bothered going out of our way for it. Mainly because so many things require Titan, so I haven't been going as much into it as of recently. Well, maybe we'll try again. It's just, you constantly keep needing Titan. Like, even tomorrow, or tonight, actually, we need to go switch back to Titan for Guild Wars. And there's just always something that I feel like we end up needing Titan for. For example, next Friday, we're going to need Titan for Delves, because new Delve is coming out. We're going to need Titan for that. And there just always feels like there's something that we're going to need to have Titan set for. But his team could actually kill us just as easily. It's using Doom Skull spam. Even though it has lower stats, it still hits ridiculously high. Assuming he even gets the hit, we could easily win before then, hopefully. Okay, what do we need? What do we need? I guess we'll take a purple for now. Grab that. Grab our gold, because why not? The skull. Oh, it's using that annoying summon. Though apparently it's not getting too many of them. Being nice and tame for once. And I'll just plop a key at it. I don't really see why you'd bother going for first place though anymore. Because legendary and epic ingots are technically less valuable than epic ingots. Did he really just get an assassinate? Apparently. In the current economy of the game, epic ingots are the most valuable most valuable ingot. Same things happen to arcanes, even though to trait stones. The arcane trait stone is the epic rarity trait stone. It's not the highest rarity, but it's the rarest out of all of them, simply because of their sheer number. Which cards do I not own? I pretty much own everything you possibly can except for Zugoff. And I think maybe one of the treasures? No, I think we have all the treasures too. But we have all pets. If I click unowned, there should be nothing here. That's not unowned. But yeah, we have every pet. If we go check unowned weapons, we're one of only a few dozen people that actually has every weapon in the game. There are very few people that do, just because you'd have to be playing since pretty much day one to realistically have them all without spending a lot of money. And even then, it might still be impossible to get all of them, just because they don't offer all of them. The only thing we're missing under troops are mainly stuff that doesn't exist in Zugoff. All 4 of these currently are unobtainable. They will be in the near future once Dooms roll around over the next 4 months. But the only thing that we can own that we currently don't own is a Zugoff. That's it. Everything else that we can possibly own, we own. And the only way to really get Zugoff is to make leaderboard in raids, invasions, the class events, stuff like that. And yeah, that's it. It's the only thing we really have to get for completionist purposes. Everything else we have, literally every single possible other thing we have. And we'll have them eventually. I just don't want to waste my blue orbs. I want to make sure we... I ideally want to spend 0 small blue orbs on him. I want to do it with just major blues, and maybe eventually getting some power orbs. But I do not want to waste my smaller blues on major blues. It's a really bad exchange rate. I think it requires 4 smaller blues just to make 1 bigger blue. And then we need 3 of those just to make 1 power orb. Yeah, he's a pretty underwhelming troop. He's very, very weak. The only time he'll ever really be viable is once Karkaroff finally reaches beyond 10 stars, because then he'll always be required to get 1 higher star. Even if they add another mythic to the kingdom, you're still always going to need Zugoff to get 1 higher star. If the kingdom's currently 12 star, it could be 13 star with a Zugoff. What's the fastest way to farm gold? Pretty much exactly what we're doing now. The only thing that could possibly be quicker is... I was going to say doing Warlord for fire bombs, but I don't think that's actually really possible anymore in the current state of the game after they reworked matchmaking. But yeah, basically exactly what we're doing now is the highest gold farming rate in the game. You spam PvP with a this team, which is Cedric Sparkle Sack, Egg Thief, Skeleton Key, and Greed. Oh, did we just fight JCG? Pretty sure that was him. Yep. Oh no, never mind. It's Jeff. Everything that begins with a J looks the same, apparently. Hello, Mr. Jesse. Welcome. Yeah, I know. Any short name that begins with J, it's like, oh yeah, it's AZG. Seems about right. Oh, why'd I do that? I could have gotten free browns. Whoops. Could have full mana right now. You could potentially gain more gold from a 400 gold bonus troop that works in PvP. Biggest issue is, I don't think any of them ever come to PvP. You could try spamming it in Explorer like you mentioned. I haven't tested the rate of that as of recently, compared to the current rate that this team gets. It would definitely be a lot more bearable, that's for sure, spamming Explore, just because the battles are way, 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 way easier to just keep spamming Explore over and over again with like a one-shot Sunbird or something. But yeah, the plus 400 gold Explorers are definitely pretty decent rates for gold. It should be over 200,000. Forget the exact rate though. Anything over 200,000 per hour is really solid. Oh yeah, Explorer is always going to win quicker. Explore battles take about 15 to 20 seconds. A PvP battle normally takes about a minute. Give or take, depending on harder battles. Oh, why'd I do that if I already had egg? Come on, let me cast already. Oh, we got mail. What for? We didn't gain a level. I guess it was someone doing a task. Yep, exactly so. Very nice. Grab that. Hey, how are we doing in Guild Wars this week? Last I checked, we were actually last place. We're missing a whole person, though. And I believe we had another person who didn't do any of their battles. But apparently that's going to make... Oh, we have never actually reached Bracket 5 before. That's going to be awful. Wait, how are we even in Bracket 4 right now? I thought we were still in Bracket 3. Oh, well. Actually, I believe as long as we stay top 50 rank, we can actually go all the way down to right here without losing any reward. So I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing, moving down to Bracket 5. Because everything from... everything that we've been in is like this whole area is exactly the same. Everything from Bracket 3 all the way down to the 4th to last of Bracket 5 is the exact same reward. So anywhere's in that range, we're actually getting the exact same thing we have been. The only thing that's going to be better is we'll get more of the EXP per day and all that. That reminds me, what's our final battle? Ultimate Scardians. Will we win that? We actually have a chance of winning it too, so we can still gain the really high EXP rate and move down to bracket and keep the really high EXP rate for a couple weeks. So hopefully that will happen. We'll have to see how Friday goes. When was my Friday defend team? Needs to be the most overpowered thing we have. Oh, there we go. Good. That is along the lines of one of the most overpowered things we have. Nice. The Queen Titania team with Fairy Fire and everything. Well, we have two people not doing anything. One is because we didn't have a person, and the other is because I just don't think they did any yet. That's one of the main things holding us back. But yeah, we are scoring a bit lower than normal. So we have had some really annoying team compositions for defense, just how they ended up aligning this time around. We had two guilds run I, and we had one guild run pretty much Fairy Fire for every day, for every battle. Yeah, we still don't know if they're going to do anything about Dragon's Eye. It's definitely a pretty annoying weapon after they buffed it. I still find that kind of funny, though, that the nerf they did to Delves ended up buffing it for everything else, particularly PvP, and particularly for defending with it. Oh, you just got a Glitter Claw. Very nice. Any teams I could suggest for it? What do you have? Generally, you build Glitter Claw into other stuff. Ward Breaker being one of the better ones, but really anything that uses green that doesn't have full mana conflict with it tends to be pretty decent. But yeah, you just use Glitter Claw behind whatever main green you want to use. So you can just keep getting Fairy Fire, or so just so you can keep feeding mana into it. And then the mana accumulation that you feed from the Convert will then give you your cast that you can then go do and do a bunch of damage off of. But yeah, it's heavily dependent on what your green damage source actually is as to what you use with it. Some of the better ones are things like Ward Breaker, Yagway, think of some of the other ones. Yasmin's Chosen, if you have it. Not too many, actually. Generally, Queen Titania tends to get used instead of Glitter Claw. It's still nice to have, though. You had someone leave because you asked him if he's using 24 defense? Wow. Well, at least he fixed the problem. Ta. Well, we got rid of I, so we don't need to deal with that anymore. Luckily, they put it right up front where it's easy to kill.
Hello, Ben. Welcome. I just realized I read your comments in reverse order. I already read your question, yet I'm saying hi to you. I do that quite a bit, actually. Just because of how YouTube chat is. It's a lot easier to read it in reverse order when I'm going through it. It's kind of weird. It doesn't mark at all where you last were in chat. Which is why it's harder to do it from the top down. Hello, Jose and Julia. Welcome. Also, we're getting a lot of firebombs all of a sudden. Will we ever be able to see other people's level again? Yes, that's being fixed in the very first patch in January. They're immediately fixing that. There's going to be like some kind of little mini patch that they're doing. Like really mini patch. I don't think it's even going to be an actual version. I'm not sure. But there's a few things they wanted to tweak with it, and that was one of them. There's a complete oversight on their part. But yeah, starting very soon in January, probably like mid-January, they'll have a fix out for that. I don't know if it's actually going to be an actual update or not, but it'll definitely be fixed sometime, probably by January. Yeah, that is kind of funny. Like, probably one of the most important pieces of information on a profile, and you can't even see it anymore, at least until next patch. Also, as I mentioned, once we reach the next level, we will go give out a redeem code. Specifically hero level. I mean, hero level as in a class level, I mean. Oops, I forgot the gold boosts. And we just died because we didn't gold boost. Let's see, we're not dead yet. Pretty close, though. Yep, we're dead because we didn't gold boost. Fail. I think that's one of the first times we've ever actually lost just because we didn't click the gold. Normally, it just delays the battle. Well, that time we actually lost the whole thing because we didn't kill the thing that was about to do damage to us. It's just such a habit to go for it that I just sometimes assume I already went for it. When we haven't, and that's not good. Yeah, I wish there was a better way to see how many tiers people bought. You can only see how well their progress is, but you can't actually see how far they went tier-wise. There's no way to possibly check that currently. It would be nice if there was, though. Oh no, why'd I click on this one? It's a Dragon's Eye team. Not as annoying of a version of it, but still annoying. Actually, that version of it doesn't seem too bad. It's still a Dragon's Eye, though. How's that? Not full mana. Okay, good. It hit something completely useless. So we should be fine, then. And we got full mana on it, too. Worst comes to worst, we just win with the dragon. So there's no way we're going to need to do that. Which I will go for this. Just tap that away, get a free turn.
And dead. No barrier for you. Yeah, you should try casting immediately. Hey, there we go. That one's definitely JZG. We found you. You're using 3 Elspeths and a Mercy. Oh, here's a real Dragon's Eye team, I think. Great fight. Yeah, it does. Pretty much any real Dragon's Eye team these days, at least on defend, is Grimlet into Dragon's Eye. Or whatever his name is. I just call him Grimlet. Gimlet. I keep calling him Grimlet, even though it's Gimlet. Close enough. Right, there goes our mana generator. Next goes our key, and if that goes, we lose. Well, we lost. Good job. Now we're gonna bother playing out the rest. Yeah, even if we do somehow win, it's gonna take like 5 minutes. Yeah, maybe we should go over to the Explorer to go power level. I always feel bad doing Explorer when it's not a vault event though, just because it feels like we're losing out on so many resources that we could potentially be gaining. Also, I believe the 2x trade stone thing only works in PvP, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it works in Explorer. Let me go double check. If it does, I guess we could go Explorer with some kind of weird Leprechaun team that also uses Hero. I guess we could replace that Forest Guardian with Leprechaun. But then again, that would be slower still, though. And probably wouldn't be worth it just for the 1 trade stone. But I'm pretty sure it's PvP only anyways. Let me see. Yeah, it's PvP only. You can't use it anywhere else other than PvP. At least not if we want the extra trait stone. There is something in this game called Grimlet. It's the, oh, excuse me. What's it called? The Plague. Not Plague. The, what's that one typing called? Also, how did we already lose? What's that one typing called? The Apocalypse. The bonus troop pet for the Apocalypse is a Grimlet. So there actually is a Grimlet in this game, it's just not what I was referring to. Okay, we need gold. I don't see no gold. Let's take that. Grab a green surge. Another pass down. Get another hit there. Destroy everything. Destroy everything again. And if only we had one more extra turn to go take that out with. You know what? We're gonna do it. There we go, and then we can key. The usefulness of Thief. We're using Thief, might as well actually utilize its ability. Key team is technically best with Thief, so it works out quite nicely. We do PvP quite a bit. Not as much as we used to. Mainly because leaderboard has gotten devalued so much. But we still spend a decent amount of time each week in PvP. So these days it's probably more towards like 5 to 10 hours than it is what we used to be in the past, where it was like 20 to 30 hours. It's mainly because there are so many ridiculously annoying defend teams right now. Like, it's not even that they're strong, they're just absurdly annoying. To the point that it's almost not fun to play against them. And of course, this is almost the inverse effect of that, where they're so easy that it's basically like Explore. Which pet is for red team? The fox. I forget what it's called, but that one red fox is the one for red, and it gives attack bonus. I completely forget its name, though. Oh, whoops, we're frozen. Whoops, I should have taken those reds first. See, that's why you don't just blindly take the greed every time. Very rarely that they would have that, though. The only thing that can do that is Frost Mage and that one other hero class that has that freeze on first turn. That awkward moment when we lose to ourselves. That awkward moment when we lose to ourselves. There we go. He just beat us with a key team, as we're using key team. Let's try that again. Different one this time. Why is everyone using Frost Mage all of a sudden? Oh, it's Guild War week, that's why. Everyone's using it for Guild War defense. Which means they're also using it for PvP indirectly, since they have to use the same one for both. I never did max out my Frost Mage, did I? That's something we should probably do in the future, too. Thief and Frost Mage. I feel like Thief would be better overall, though. They did say that they were planning on doing some rework to PvP this year, but they ended up not doing it. It's probably going to be sometime early to mid next year. But they haven't confirmed anything yet. Oh, thank you for that, Ben. Yeah, I do need to get new glasses eventually. My current glasses I have are from, oh gosh, 2016, right? Oh, that's not too long ago. Never mind, that's only 2 years. And normally you are supposed to replace them like every few years or so. Only problem is I still don't have health insurance. Nor will I for next year. Let's see. So whatever I end up getting will all be out of pocket. Using a treasure hoard and defense team make any sense? It does not give you the gold, but the reason why everyone uses it is it's just ridiculously weak. One nice thing about the treasure hoards is even as you upgrade them, they still keep the same amount of no stats. They have some of the lowest stats of anything in the entire game because of that. And even if you level them, they still maintain those very low stats. Because leveling does nothing to their stats. But no, people basically just do it instead of using Firebomb, because ever since the new matchmaking system, it's actually slightly less likely that your team will keep popping up if you just set it to 4 times Firebomb, because all the other teams that are also set to 4 times Firebomb are going to keep popping up. But if you put like 4 random treasure on your team, it'll be unique enough that most people would not be using that team. Or mix and match it, like 3 treasures and a Firebomb and stuff like that. Like this week, something that could be good is 3 chalices and an Elspeth, or 2 chalices, 2 Elspeths, or any other combination of other things similar to that. Hey, we got a pet. I believe that's already maxed though. But we didn't get it, someone in the guild did. Well, let's go check it. Pretty sure I have it maxed. But you never know. No, we did not. Oh, good thing we checked. And we're using Thief, too, so we get a bunch of EXP for this. so is the light still on my thing? It is. There's still rays of light all over my green screen. Actually, you can't see it as much now compared to before, except I'm messing with it and now it's kind of making it even more. But yeah, there's a bunch of rays of light on it. Good job, window. Almost need to put up like one of those blackout things on the window. I currently have a shade over it and blinds, and somehow it still doesn't block the light. Three lust with a jar of eyes. Yeah, I've been seeing that on defend today recently. It actually is quite a bit of damage. Especially when trying to kill it with a key team. I think that might be why some people are actually using it on defend. It's particularly good against keys. Especially if hero is using that thing that has bandit on it. Remove the windows. But yeah, I might be moving in the next few years, I'm not sure. I don't know, I still wouldn't say lust is that useful. Anything that's only good on defend, I would not call as useful. Yeah, I know, pretty much what Exo said. There's a difference between useful and very annoying. Yeah, good defend teams almost everywhere except for Guild Wars means nothing. Guild Wars is the only location where a good defend team means anything, and even then it means very little. But that's the closest they have to it meaning anything, is Guild Wars. Which I do feel like they did at least decently. It's the closest they're really going to get to making defense actually viable, but they need to do something about that to PvP as well. In a way that this doesn't completely break the meta into everyone just using the most overpowered things there is. Because then they would need to revamp the whole gold economy. Who knows, maybe that's why they keep adding gold troops. They're planning on a gold nerf when they rework PvP, who knows? Did I intentionally get the same eyeglass frames as Sean King? No. Oh, why'd I give him that? How's that still not full mana? There we go.
It took you 4 whole live streams to realize that wasn't him. That's a lot of time. And we got 2 copies. Still need 11 more. I always thought we had that one maxed, but apparently not. Maybe that's why we don't have it maxed, because I keep thinking it's already maxed. So I never bother doing it whenever that pet comes around. Could have sworn it was. Yeah, and the biggest issue with normal PvP too is how ridiculously expensive it is to repick. It costs 1 whole gem, which is almost never worth it. Of course, the way around that is to do casual PvP, but unless you're putting it to a higher difficulty, or, you know, to a higher, yeah, difficulty, it's not really going to give you more gold, it's going to give you less gold. It's going to give you easier battles, though, and easier repicks, or cheaper repicks. Oh, we should be pretty close to getting that level. And then we'll hand out a code, and then we'll work towards level 90. Oh, that died already. Really? Triple Tesla gate. Triple Tesla gate. I haven't seen that for a while. It's actually really good. I wouldn't advise using it this late into the game, but it is pretty hilarious. Assuming it would live. Because all you do is Dwarven Gate, Dwarven Gate, Dwarven Gate, Tesla, Dwarven Gate, Dwarven Gate, Dwarven Gate, Tesla, and keep repeating it. You never actually need to touch the board. It's one of the only teams in the, or one of the only few teams in the entire game that can win the battle without ever touching the board at all. But I guess maybe not at all. You would actually have to do it at least initially to get enough mana for 2 of them. But once you get to 2 mana, you can just keep it, assuming they don't have mana drain. You can win out the rest of the battle without ever touching the board for the rest of the battle. It's a little bit towards the slower side. But if you don't have other options, it's pretty nice. Normally, it's better just to use double Dwarven Gate Valkyrie Tesla, though. Just for this extra speed that it has. It's still a fun team to mess around with. Yeah, we'll take a brown for now. I am so tempted just to throw that down at him. I think it's enough damage. There we go. Okay, no point in taking that skull. We'll take the red. Throw another key down. Oh no, that's a 100% chance. He has a Dragon's Eye on this team. There we go. That can be seen from a mile away. Pretty much any team that runs Gimlet anymore, I don't really bother doing. It's because it's pretty obvious what they're doing. It's beatable, it's just very annoying to deal with. Oh yeah, Nimue, the week that Nimue ended up coming out was the week we had a hurricane. So I don't think I ever covered a video on it. Because that whole week was just a mess. Actually, almost that whole month was a mess, but particularly that week was just awful. But, as far as Nimue, what did we end up using with that? We went over some on the Friday video of that week. I forget what that Friday video would have been, though. But it's an okay troop, but I wouldn't really use it for much. Biggest thing that it lacks is any good synergies with other troops, color-wise. But it does have double silence, so that makes it kind of nice. But it just doesn't have the synergy like all the other double converts have. So all the other double converts just tend to be better than it, even though they don't have silence. And
Unless you specifically need it for the silence, you should never use Nimue. Even the, what's his name? Even the troop from, not Sea of Sorrows, Primal Rift, ends up being better than the Nimue in most situations. And even he's not really used much, because both of them lack the synergy color-wise. Would you use it on Purple Guild War Day? I don't think you can get away with it on Purple Guild War Day. What's your convert color? I actually can't remember off the top of my head. Because I'm trying to think of something that would synergize with her on a Purple Day. Last I recall, most Divine teams, I mean, most Purple Day teams tend to go off of Divine Ishbala. If you're going to go down that route. Or even into Doomskull spam, like with Glaceon and stuff. Oh, why did I just not take a red? I've already gotten that. Let's take the green to the skull. But Nimue is one of those troops that just doesn't really have many synergies at the moment. Oh, we just reached level 89, so we'll give out a redeem code. But let me see, what is her convert? Let me double check. I believe the only thing you could maybe do with it is, I believe you can use it with Azura, actually. Transform all yellows to skulls and red to purple. So you would get purple mana accumulation. Which, yeah, on a purple day, you could just use that into yourself. You know what you can actually get away with that with? Though I don't know if you have it. Infernus plus Element Grim. Using it within the context of that team, it would actually fit. It's one of the few locations where you could probably get away with it. If you want to use it for Purple Guild War Day. I'm trying to think of what else you might be able to use that for. The biggest issue is that it gets rid of red. Like, there's a lot of really good troops that use both red and purple. But the fact that it denies one of those is a little bit annoying. Any team to build around your new Arachnine Weaver, a lot of them. What are you using it for? It's generally used for delves, but you tend to just synergize it with true damage, or you just go for a double cast and just do it that way. Like, even just Mountain Crusher into Weaver just to get the mana you need, and then throwing Weaver twice, get your kill, throw Weaver twice, get the kill. Megavore is probably one of the best synergies that you could ever have for it. I don't know if you have it, though. You throw a Megavore, you kill it with Weaver. Throw a Megavore, kill it with Weaver, repeat until the whole entire team is down. You don't necessarily need Megavore for that, though. You could do other similar options. You throw some kind of true damage, single target, clean it up with Weaver, throw a Weaver, and then you win. Because the extra damage that it does will generally be enough that you could two-hit it. So if you weaken the last troop, or either the two last troops, and then you start hitting two each time, you pretty much just keep looping Arachnine Weaver until you win. And you can just feed it mana with Ragnagord, Gurgulfa, Mountain Crusher, or any of the exploders in the game. You just keep repeating it until you win. But Megavore or Weaver is the biggest thing that it gets used for, mainly in delves. And half the delves can use it. Oh, well, you can still do other true damage teams with it then. Doesn't have to be Megavore. But anyways, let me go hand out a code before I forget. I did say when we hit the level 89, we'd hand one out, and we did hit level 89. Let me go do that. Mark it. Copy. Save it. Put it right over here. Refresh. And there we go. It works on both of them. Copy. Paste. And there you guys go. There's the redeem code. Use it on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section, or simply click that link that's right over there. Same place as always. Invite code can be found underneath settings menu. Redeem code's right over there as well as in chat. Just copy paste it. And same reward. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 2,500 gold. And it's available on every platform except for the console versions. and hopefully it releases on Nintendo Switch soon. Anyways, back to the PvP grinds. I wanted to hit at least level 90 by the end of the stream, and it looks like we'll be able to do that. Should be able to. I don't see why not. Might even be able to reach 91 if we go quick enough. Storm Shield's pretty inconsistent, unfortunately. The one barrier that he does every single time. He's a good alternative if you don't have Dawnbringer when you need a barrier on red, yellow, or blue Guild War days. Mainly red days, the biggest one that tends to use it, because of the lack of other options. But once you have a Dawnbringer, you pretty much never use him again, Storm Shield. Because almost every situation it's better just to use the Dawnbringer. So he's using a pretty good team. Oh no, he's not. Never mind. He's just spamming Devour. I guess spamming Devour is a pretty good team to be using at a lower level range. Give you one of the better chances of actually winning. We're not gonna let him. Yeah, no problem for the code. I'll have another one later tonight. Oh, I'm actually starting to hate this doomed weapon. Also, this was someone who actually bought it all the way to max. That costs a lot of resources to actually do to get a plus 10 doom weapon. Like a really absurd amount of resources. Like, I think you have to spend like 2,000 or 3,000 gems on that thing. And they did buff it recently too. It actually does have a better final effect. Never mind, that's not how you check the final effect. But it still has that annoying crate of blue, which gets in the way. But it has, okay, we'll see it on the next menu. It has some kind of mana accumulation. Drain 2 mana from blue enemies is what he has. I guess that's not too good. I actually don't even have any blue allies anymore. Oh no, he just killed my mana generator. Actually, might as well just retreat at this point. It's over. Right into Revenge Firebomb. I'll take it. It's about the best we can get. Constantly seeing Revenge Firebombs everywhere. There's a lot of free resources. Oh, on Earth, this first slot not die. Good morning, Blue. From your older videos, is the consensus still that for those of us still getting souls, Valkyrie triple Warlock is the fastest path if we don't have Fairish Ra? Dragon Soul, triple Azurus, or actually Dragon Soul, double Azurus, Umberwolf is the absolute quickest you can do with 0 Fairish Ras. And in the current state of the game, if you're not using that at minimum, you're pretty much better off just farming it in Arena. It's slightly slower, but you're getting a lot of hero class XP, plus you're getting ingots and stuff like that, plus pet chances. So you're getting a lot more pieces of content by doing that. But yeah, that's basically the cheapest you'd want to use. Is not Fairish Ra, Dragon Soul, double Umberwolf, and Dragon Soul, double Azurus, and then Umberwolf. Or Dragon Soul, double Azurus with hero class using Purple Storm off of Necromancer. Either or. But those are generally what you want to use for soul farming at minimum. And at maximum, you start replacing in the Azuruses with Fairish Ras. But yeah, there's been, probably since that video, they did a lot of buffs to Arena. The soul rate's still the same, but they made a lot of other changes that made it viable. Like ingots being there, pets being there, stuff like that. It also has the highest trophy rate in the entire game. Even higher than PvP.
Of course, trophies are pretty trivial, but still. If that's relevant for any reason, like maybe your guild has a requirement for them. It is the quickest trophies you can ever get. I have no clue why the guild is doing so bad this week, other than the fact that we're missing an entire person. Which is one of the main reasons. I just guess none of the other guilds are missing anyone this week. So we are performing a little bit below average too. But it doesn't matter, as long as we have the exact same reward in bracket 5 as we do in bracket 4. Everything from the top of bracket 3 to the 4th to last or higher of bracket 5 is the exact same loot. So as long as we don't do awful in bracket 5, we're actually technically getting more loot, not less, because we're going to have more wins overall in days. Now, if we get lower than bracket 5, that's a really big issue. Not really, like, really big, but we do start losing gems and other stuff at that point. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier that we were missing 2. I just didn't know 100% for sure if we were. I knew for sure we were missing the 1. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons why we're so low. We're just missing a lot of people. And they still didn't make any kind of fix that changes that. One thing that was proposed by the community, but they never implemented it, was 27 out of 30 guild wars, where only the 27 highest scoring people in your guild would actually count. And that way, whenever guild wars, like if you're switching people and stuff like that, you wouldn't get penalized by them, assuming you had 3 of them or less. But they never ended up implementing that. And now basically if you're missing even 1 person in guild wars, your entire guild is kind of out of luck with how the scoring system is. Why is every move so bad? I just want to take a green. There we go, I'll do that one. Still gives him something, but it's not really going to do anything. Yeah, Arena generally is not worth playing later in the game. They are reworking it next patch, though. Or not next patch, my bad. They're reworking it next year. Oh, who knows? Maybe they're reworking it next patch. I don't think they are, though. Oh, yeah, they've added a lot in the last year. Unfortunately, mainly sigil-related stuff, which is basically like energy systems. But it's mainly because they changed the gem economy as far as how they get synced. Because before it used to be new kingdoms. Now new kingdoms don't really happen anymore. Now instead it's new factions. And those don't actually really sync anything. So basically their way to sync gems now is to do weekly event stuff. And that's how they sync gems. The only one that actually profits is Guild War. Because it costs almost nothing. Is there going to be a Christmas gem sale? I would assume so. Though I haven't heard any word on it, if there would be or not. I don't know if they're doing anything special for the Christmas time. I'd assume they would. Oh, so that reminds me, has Steam started their sale yet? I haven't even checked yet. Yep, there it is. Hey, they have started their sale. I wanted to see how much the controller thingy was. The Steam controller. If it's under 25 bucks, I might pick it up. Let's see. Steam controller. Oh, it's exactly at 25 bucks. That's tempting. Oh no, the Link thing, why is the Link so much money? I remember it being only $5 earlier. Why is it not $5 again? But I don't really need it for anything. I mainly just wanted to test out the controller. If nothing else, just to have another controller around. Yeah, I'll consider it. We'll see. Yeah, we'll get that down. Also, I need to go check what other deals are going on. Who knows, maybe we'll find some kind of interesting new game to go play.
That or return back to some, like Darkest Dungeon or Stardew Valley or something else. Or one of the other nice indies. Yeah, missing one entire person is anywhere from 20,000 to 50-something thousand points. That's a lot of points to be missing when there's many times when the gap is only a few thousand. Also, wow, it is windy outside. Heard something just fall because of how windy it is. Not even hurricane season anymore. Yeah, Darkest Dungeon is a lot of fun. We'll revisit it again. It's a great streaming game, too. Problem with a lot of games, too, is that they're not necessarily set up the best for actual streaming. Luckily, Gems of War is set up pretty nicely for it. Or at least when we normally have stuff to do anyways. But if nothing else, we needed to get this done eventually anyways, the Thief grind. Something I've been meaning to do for months now, actually. Pretty much since Thief came out, I've been meaning to max it. It's just we keep having to use Titan for everything. Like, even tonight, I need to switch back to Titan. Just because we need it for Guild Wars tonight. Hello, Mark. Welcome. Yeah, Blue, if you just do the normal thing every single day, just doing the free battles, and you buy the 50 gem thing every Sunday, that alone should be enough for you to have enough to craft Ferris Raw by the time it comes back around again. Because it's not coming for another 2 months, and it only takes 3 months to get all the traits, I'll say it right eventually. All of the diamonds you need only take about 3 months by doing that. So assuming you already have some, you should be able to have it by the next time Ferris Raw rolls around. Because it's going to be about another 2 months until you see Ferris Raw again. Give or take a couple weeks. Why is everyone using a key team? Pretty sure all three of those were just a key team. Oh yeah, it's nice that we finally get some more light. I kept going to bed actually pretty early recently, just because of just how much darker it stays. Which they'd create a gnome for what? For what? Diamonds? They created a jewel gnome recently that technically gives diamonds, but the chance that you get a 20 diamond drop from it's very rare, and every other drop it has is just plain awful. Ferris Raw is generally not advised as a first craft, unless you really want to go get Dawnbringer. You shouldn't do it as your first craft. First craft is normally Infernus in the current state of the game. Then Ferris Raw is your second. But Infernus just has insanely good damage. Best burn in game. Only thing that has board clear into its own storm. Normally you need 2 troops to do this. He can do it with 1. He has damage that cannot be protected against from barrier or submerge or anything like that due to how it distributes its damage. and it distributes its damage very nicely as far as it hits a target and does half to adjacents. It's completely random when it hits, but it's still really high damage. And yeah, it's really good. Every single aspect about it is just amazing. And it's generally considered the best first craft you could ever do, just because you can use it in pretty much everything. The only thing that might be a little bit weaker in is doing in delves, but you can get away with it in well, actually, you wouldn't really use in those other two game modes, but mainly in Guild Wars and PvP are the two biggest locations, particularly PvP, where you would actually end up using that thing. Yeah, it's a really nice troop. You'll still see me using it all the time in various teams. Any team ideas using Iron Gut for Delve? Would depend on the Delve. You would generally just build it into Brown Spam every single time. So whatever you need to do to get that done. Okay, what do we need here? We'll go take the green over. We might actually Dyed in Furnace here. Or War. Or everything. We'll take a blue. Get our summon. Take our red. And Key will finish it. Also, with the Iron Gut, you can spam any of its colors. The only reason you'd specifically want to do brown normally is because you can use Mountain Crusher and just do it that way. And keep gaining barrier on your Titan. Hey, we found a gnome. It's actually the first gnome of this stream. You can definitely tell it's not a gnome event, that's for sure. But who knows, maybe we'll have something good in them. I haven't seen a Vault Key during a non-Vault event for a, pretty much since Vault Keys launched. Has anyone actually been seeing Vault Keys when it's not the event? I'm pretty sure it's been multiple months. Like, pretty much the first month that it came out was the first time we ever got it. Or the only time we've ever gotten it. And all he gave us, I didn't even notice his drop because it's so pitiful. All he did was give us 2 miners. That's awful. What's the best place to get Vault Keys from at the moment? Bounty Hunter, Raids, and Invasions. So at this current moment in time, there's literally nothing. Unless there's a Vault event going on, or any kind of event that drops Vault Keys, there's no viable way to gain Vault Keys, unless either of those are currently occurring. Vault events are generally the absolute best way of doing it, because you could theoretically gain dozens in a single weekend. But other various events that give you a guarantee one at a certain area is pretty nice. One of the easiest ways to gain a free one, particularly as a newer player too, is the faction events on Tuesdays. That's pretty much free 2 orbs as well as a free Vault Key. And you generally don't need too high of stats. If you can kill pets, you could probably kill up to those points in the faction for the Monday events. I mean Tuesday events. And that would give you a Vault Key every week, plus some orbs. Because it's something you normally only farm with. Is the Gems of War database website down? I don't know. Let's see, is it? Let's see, Gems of War. No, not Google. Here we go. Well, it's loading. Waiting for gemsofwardatabase.com. Could just be that my connection is slow. which I wouldn't be surprised. It might be down. Still hasn't loaded yet. Though it could also just be that my connection's glacially slow. Internal server error. Yeah, it's down. Yep. It'll probably be up later. Yeah, it does appear to be down. You got a vault key from a gnome today. Very nice. Why do your summons on your team, like baby dragons, rogues, and various daemons, are always bad compared to your opponents? How much worse? It could just be because your base stats are lower. The rarity of the troop, I believe, can also affect some as far as some of the stats. Like if you're getting a mythic bandit in compared to just an ultra rare bandit, the mythic one's definitely going to have more stats. And also, I believe how the leveling comes in. I believe things summoned off of Hero's Thing will come in at the highest level you could possibly do it at. So let's say that your bandits are currently level 18 epics. They would come in at 18 epics, whereas if they were 20 mythics, they'd come in at 20 mythics. That's another thing that could do it. But I'm pretty sure it's a combination of that plus their base stats are just higher. That's probably why they're so much stronger than yours. But ascending them is probably the main issue that's making it higher. That and just normal base stats. Things from like 5-star kingdom, 10-star kingdom, stuff like that. The ones that give extra stats. And of course level 10 all kingdom if you haven't done that yet. Oh, that's an I team. Nope. It's not as annoying of an I team, but it's still an I team. Yeah, you don't need to worry too much about ascending them. Like, you don't need to go way out of your way for it. But, yeah, eventually getting them ascended would help. It's just, it's kind of hard to focus them down specifically. What weapon is recommended for Arena? There's really only 2 Arena weapons. Runic Blade and Dawnbringer. You just use Runic Blade until you own Dawnbringer, and then you just only use Dawnbringer, and literally nothing else ever. Very occasionally, if you really want to, you can use stuff like Mang and other things if you don't want to use Runic Blade. But, yeah, it's basically just Runic Blade and Dawnbringer. Those are, in most situations, the only 2 weapons you ever need for Arena. And once you have Dawnbringer, you never use anything other than Dawnbringer. Speaking of Runic Blade, outside of Arena, you should never use that weapon, unless you're, like, really early game. But then again, you already have to be decently leveled to even own it. You'd have to be around level 100 or so. I think you need 37 blue. I mean, you need 30-something green, yellow, if I'm not mistaken, to own that weapon for free. Which is how basically everyone owns it. Thank you, Mr. X. But yeah, we will be streaming on Christmas and everything. Hopefully we'll have some special redeem codes. And if not, we'll just have a little bit more than normal. It's probably just going to be normal time, just at night. Hey, another gnome. Maybe this one will have our vault key. How much real money would it cost to get 1.3 million souls? Too much. An absurd amount of money. I would highly not advise doing that. Paying money to get gold or souls is an extreme waste of money. There are way more efficient ways to waste your money on this game. Oh, I didn't even double check to see what our drop was. Did we just get a Volky? That looked golden. Pretty sure that was just a Volky, and I just clicked through it like it was nothing. Let me double check the replay. Pretty sure that was just a Volky. Oh no, that wasn't a Volky. That was just gold. Wait, what did we get then? Wait, what did we get? Oh, it was 2,500 gold. Okay, never mind. Nothing of interest. False alarm. It was just a useless normal gnome drop. Have I put a lot of money into this game? No, I only spent about 200 something on this game. Comes out to a little over $5 a month is how much I spent on this game. Basically like you would on a membership or anything. Can't even remember the last thing I tried buying. I think it was when jewels and everything first came into the game. I think I ended up spending like $20 or $30 worth just to get them a bit quicker. Just so we can do some videos on some of the newer stuff. Like Xenos and some of the other weapons that came out during the time. But, yeah, I think that's the most recent thing we spent it on. Prior to that, I believe I did Guild Seal some when Guild Seals first became a thing. Because there was a limited amount you could get per week, so I had to speed it up some. And the only other thing that was added recently that I would say is maybe worth going for is the Epic Ingots. Not because they are good, just because there's really no other way to obtain them realistically in the current state of the game other than buying them for 10 cents each. Well, you know, they cost $25, but, you know, it comes down to 10 cents each. Well, speaking of that, how much would it cost to actually buy souls to go get it done? I'm pretty sure it's like $500. Let me see. Well, first, how much is a gem even worth these days? Or cost-wise? So we'll need to know that to know the thing. Let's see, gems. Let's see. I guess we could just base it on the 1,500 because I don't know really how to do it with everything else. So let's base off of that. So that being said, that's about $1 is what then? 15 gems. So what is one gem worth then? Math. Let's see. Wait, 15. Yeah, right? 15, and then you divide that in. Wait, did I do that right? It would just be that then. So it'd come out to 6.6 cents repeating, right? Per gem? Numbers around there. I just rounded up to 7 cents because you're probably going to buy like smaller packs or something. But actually, really, the most efficient way is just to do daily gems and never buy any of the bulks. But actually, let's do it based on that calculation then. What would that be then? Daily gems, it comes out to... let's see. Let's do it based on the absolute highest you could ever get, which is the daily gem rate. 225. Divide that by... Wait. Yeah, you would need to do 500. I feel like I'm doing the math wrong. The awkward moment when you haven't done math for ages. Is that right? That can't be right. Yeah, it's about 2 cents each then. Let's just go with that. How is that such a big difference then between the two? Is daily gems really that much better? I feel like it is. But yeah, that would basically be 2 cents each then, essentially. Roughly. Let's just go with that. Anyways, with that math, how much would that cost to get all the souls we would ever need? So 2 cents each for every single one of these gems. So that's basically $10 then. But, let's see. There's too many maths going on here. Let's see. How many times would that go into it? 1300000. Divide that by 18,000. Times that by 500. So it would take 36,111 gems to buy Dawnbringer. We don't even have that many gems. And then to times that by 2. Oh wait, but then how would you get the dollar value? But then you would have to divide it by 100, right? Yeah. So times by 2 and divide by 100. If I did that math right, it costs $722 to buy Dawnbringer immediately. So obviously you would never do that. Roughly that much, give or take. If I did math right. Probably not. But it's probably some kind of other absurd number. If it's not $722, it's some kind of other similar absurd number. Obviously you would not want to do that. You can farm Dawnbringer in 20 to 50 hours. 20 with Fairish Raws, 50 with not Fairish Raws. Actually, maybe even be a little bit longer than 50. Could be around 50 to 80. But still, it's much better than spending that much money. Any chance of ideas for new Delve teams? You haven't been able to get through All-Seeing Eye without losing troops since level 200? All-Seeing Eye, I ended up just using Megavore Weaver with the entire time. Alternatively, you can run various forms of Gluttony team and run that protectively. You can run Apothecary into Dragon's Eye into clean up troops. You can run Mountain Pressure Apothecary into actual damage sources. You can run, I don't know, what other options are there? That's most of the options that you have that would actually win without losing. Oh, what's the best way to buy to VIP 5? Actually, that's a good question. What is the current best way to buy into VIP 5? I'd probably have to say, well, obviously Death Knight armor. That goes without saying. That covers 50. Or that covers 50. There's a couple different ways you can go about it, and it depends if you want to do long term or short term. Long term, you'd throw a lot of the $5 packs, which you can only have one at a time, the $5 daily gems, and probably throw one of those like longer delayed monthly packs. But I believe the absolute most efficient is Death Knight armor into, let's see, where'd it go? Death Knight armor, which is 50, into this Mythic Growth pack, which is another 50, so that's 100. You need to spend 130. Into the monthly deal thing, which is 20. And then over the course of that month, you would do 2 daily gems. So Death Knight armor for 50, this for the other 50, up to 100, this for 150, though you would want to make sure to specifically use this strategically when you're actually going to be playing a lot. Don't just get it and then not play, because you do have to play quite a decent amount to actually get your values worth out of this thing. And then the last 10 is done with the daily gems, which you can't have stacked, so you have to have one, and then after that one expires after the 14, 15 days, whatever it is, then you need to get another one. But yeah, that would be the probably most efficient way of using it. I believe this instant pack is better than the growth pack. Let me see. I'm actually not fully certain, though it depends what resources you're really looking to try to get more of. Let's see, where'd it go? But yeah, the growth pack ends up doing it immediately too, so you don't have any delay with it, assuming you're level 150, which you probably should be. But unlike these, which have like a really, really long delay to them, plus most of the resources they give aren't even too useful for the most part. And like ingots become so devalued after so quickly, this is so useless to bother going for either of these two. It's because there's really no point in the current state of the game at all. But yeah, so basically Death Knight Growth Pack, the Mythic Growth Pack, 2 daily gems, which you'd have to have one and then get the other. And then that one ring thing for whenever you're going to be playing a lot during a month. I believe that's the most efficient way to get to 5. VIP 5. Well, Xander, I was basing it off of the daily gems pricing, just so that it wouldn't shift in price. Of course, realistically, no one would ever buy daily gems for that long. I don't know, maybe there are some people that do. I guess that's technically like a subscription if you're paying $10 a month for daily gems constantly. But I was just basing it off of daily gems rate when I was doing that math, just so it'd be a lot more simpler to calculate. The point would be to get the Dawnbringer today. Yeah, that makes sense. But realistically, you should never buy souls. They are just a complete waste of gems. Buying souls and buying gems with... buying souls and buying gold with gems are both 100% pointless. One of the easiest ways to just burn through gems. And both of them are horrifically bad value. Well, if you want Dawnbringer today, depending on how close you are, doing a bunch of arena could possibly get you there. 24 hours of arena is around, let's assume, I don't know how much I should actually assume. Depends how well you play it. Let's even lowball it and assume 15,000. Let's see, how many souls is that then? 15,000 times, let's say 20 hours. Actually, we could probably just done that in our head. But, yeah, 300,000 souls. I don't know how much closer that gets you, though. If nothing else, that covers all the weapons other than Dawnbringer itself. The only way you could actually get it done in the day is with 2 Fairish Raws, though. That would take roughly 20 hours, give or take an hour or 2. What weapon should you use in Arena? I was just about to say Dawnbringer, but I forgot you don't have it. Runic Blade. You can occasionally use Mang and a few other things, but Runic Blade's pretty much the only thing you really need, assuming the coloration works with whatever you picked. And you're generally going to want to try to pick in a way that you can use Runic Blade. Dawnbringer really isn't used for too much, though. Even though it's a really nice weapon, there's really only 3 locations it ever comes into. I guess a little bit more than that. The only things it's absolute best for is, ironically, Arena. And the Thursday class events. Those are the 2 things that it's only ever best for. Some things it's pretty good for, though, are things like Guild War days, raids and evasions occasionally, particularly the earlier battles in them, and very occasionally in PvP. It's a pretty slow weapon, but it's good at not losing. Though in Arena, it's ridiculously quick just because of how it scales. It's one of the few locations where it's actually used purely as an offensive option, Arena. Disenchant all the extra troops for the souls you need. I really wish they would rework the disenchanting system. Doomskull teams. The biggest issue with Doomskull teams is most of them do require legends. One of my absolute favorite would probably have to be... let's see if I can even remember what the team is. I actually think I completely forget. Let's see. It's Glaceon. No, it's Wrath, Glaceon, the blue Doom weapon, and Bloodhammer would be one of the pure Doomskullish teams you could ever do. The Wrath technically doesn't do Doomskulls, but it explodes. So those explosions can then explode all the Doomskulls. So it's kind of like a Doomskull, even though it doesn't actually do Doomskulls. It does the same effect of Doomskulls, it just isn't actually called Doomskulls. But in theory, it acts the exact same way. Yep, there he is. But there's alternative versions you could do too, but most Doomskull teams do, or basically just pure legends. Every good Doomskull spam option is a legend. Good morning, Dragon Ball Z fan. Welcome. Yeah, you could also just put a Gorgolfa there, so you never die. That's pretty much the solution to any team if you're ever dying too much. Put a Gorgolfa there. That, or you could also put a Sylvanian Mora in last slot, if it's specifically Skull Spam related. In some instances, that could be even tankier than the Gorgolfa. Yeah, Gorgolfa is the tankiest troop in the game, pretty much. Or at least the tankiest realistic troop to ever use. The only thing that's tankier in some situations is basically just Hero using Titan. Because you can keep brown spamming to gain barriers forever. With the gem subscription alone, it would take 6.5 years to buy enough souls for Dawnbringer. Well, obviously you would go obtain souls by some other means. Also, you should never actually spend gems on souls. The exchange rate is really bad, as you can tell by the fact that it takes 6.5 years to do it with daily gems. It's an absurd waste of resources. There's really only a few things gems ever really get used on these days. And the main thing is just any of the events. Like raids, invasions, bounty hunters, stuff like that. And not all of them. Pets you would never spend it on. And generally, if you're really trying to conserve your gems, class events you should also never spend it on. You should manually level everything instead. Like what we're doing right now. It takes time. And we don't do it as often because it takes time. But it is way more gem efficient to do what we're doing right now than it is to actually pay gems to get EXP on heroes. I'm not actually sure if spending thousands on Tower of Doom is worth it or not. It depends where your guild is positioning. Like, if you actually need to spend thousands so that your guild can complete out all the events, it's probably worth it. But if your guild is easily completing it with everyone just doing a few hundred, or however many they're really doing, then you probably shouldn't be going that far with it, unless you just really wanted the weapon. But all the weapons seem to be the exact same thing, pretty much. Just ever so slightly different with the colors that they do it for. But the actual premise of what they do seems to be the same. And I would assume all 4 of the other colors are too. They're kind of okay. The biggest issue is they're only really good against Dooms. They can very occasionally be used outside of that context, but it's just not the same. Oh yeah, if you're aiming for number 1, I guess then it could be somewhat worth it. But even then, you're probably spending more gems than what you're even getting back in return. Because even if only 3 guilds are trying for number 1, the amount of excess gems that they're going to spend is going to be almost to the point where you don't even profit. And whoever ends up making second and third in that situation are going to lose gems overall. Or pretty much any instance you're going to lose gems, I guess. Regardless of how you look at it. And the only thing you're really getting extra other than the gems is those Copy of the Dooms. But as long as you have blue orbs, those Copy of the Dooms mean nothing. It's one of the reasons why I don't want to convert all of my blues into major blues. Because that'd be one of the value things that we'd lose out on, is just being able to spam orbs on various things. Get them upgraded. And I might eventually do that for Dooms. Once a Doom is finally required to actually get a higher star on something, I probably will just spam a bunch of blues on it. Smaller blues. I could have just taken that skull, failed. That probably would have been the mana we needed to. Yeah, well, throw a key, win from there. Gets the kill. Luckily we actually turned that, but we don't really have much of a follow-up. Let's see, grab a, let's take purple for now. Grab that. He'll just die out, oh well. Take that over, take that over. Grab a, we'll just need to manually take our mana. Oh no, we could actually die here. Can you just deny my color too? Well, you overrid it if you didn't deny it. I'll move that over. We'll lose it any second now. There we go. We're actually gonna die to Night Coronet. You've got to be kidding me. Of all the things that die do. Yep, pretty much. What's your strategy and what level? You're getting, as far as Runic Blade strategy, you need to make sure you have at least one other option to poke the troop. And basically, you'll use your very small poke of whatever you drafted, and then you follow it up with Runic Blade. Runic Blade gets the kill, and then you just destroy everything from there. And you always run everything on normal difficulty, or hard. Very, very occasionally Warlord 1. But you really shouldn't be going any further than hard most of the time. Hard is just to make sure you gain a little bit extra souls. If you have like an absurdly good draft, you can occasionally go to Warlord 1. If anything further than that, it's not going to be worth the extra difficulty. Pretty much. You need one troop that can just poke, do a little bit of damage, and then follow it up with Runic Blade. After you throw it and kill it with Runic Blade, you get a bunch of stats. And then you basically just one-shot everything with every Runic Blade and skull that you do therefore. And you use Hero on first thought always in Runic Blade teams. But pretty much every single arena you ever do, you generally use Hero on first, either first or second. And with Runic Blade, you always do it in first because of the attack gain that you get. Okay, what else we need here? Grab, destroy. How hard is it to get into the top 1000 PvP rank? It's pretty easy. It just takes a lot of time. It's somewhere around 20 to 30 hours of PvP in a week at a decent win rate. Yeah, it's a very, very small amount of people that end up getting rewards for it. They are considering reworking it. As I mentioned earlier, there was supposed to be a PvP rework this year, but they ended up moving it to sometime next year, probably early next year or sometime. But bottom line is they didn't do it this year, so we still have a really weird PvP system. But they are planning on expanding the basic rewards so that more people actually get stuff. Maybe not specifically the leaderboard side, but definitely like the basic rewards, like how we currently get rewards up to 1.9k. That's going to be expanded probably to like 5,000 or 10,000 or something. Yeah, pretty much what Momin said. You have to play for about 3 to 5 hours every day at a decent win rate. Actually, probably more towards 3 to 4, you're right. If you're just trying to make 1,000, it's probably 3 to 4. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, it's probably more towards 5 hours for top 100. Let's see, move that over. Which is obviously a lot of time. But of course, though, if you're a mid-game player and you haven't been playing this game for years already, you could definitely easily do that. Add another hour for every 20 after 100, pretty much. Top 1 takes somewhere around like 18 hours per day or something. Let's see, what's it currently at? 156,000, yeah. Actually, what even is the maximum rate that you can really get per hour, rating-wise? I don't even know what that is these days. Let's see, 1 win per minute, 50 rating per win. Let's just average it based on that. What does that come out to? 60 times 50. And that'd be like maximum rate, approximately. 60 times 50. That's 3,000 per hour. So to do that many points, and this is like a underestimate as well, but let's see, 156 divided by 3,000, or 3, I mean. I'm doing it that way, 156 divided by 3. And that would take 52 hours in a week to make current first place, where it's currently at. And that's assuming you never lose and you win once per minute. So realistically, that's probably more towards 60 hours, if not higher. That assumes you do 50 rating every battle, win within 1 minute, and never lose once. Which is very unlikely given all those factors. Oh yeah, I guess we could calculate it out that way too. We could just take 3,000 and divide it by 60, approximately. Let's see. So about 50 hours. What is that per day then? It's probably a little bit more than that. Let's see, divide that by 7. That's not too bad, 7 hours a day. Though it's probably taking them way longer than what I just calculated it out to be. That's like extremely, extremely low ball estimate. We're gonna lose this battle. How is that even gonna happen? Oh, he just gave us a lust. Oddly enough, that actually helps us. Hey, we got Sylvania Moore. We'll go rebuild an entire team. Only problem is Sylvania Moore is now blocking our thing. Okay, never mind. That actually helped us, because now we don't have to deal with Sylvania Moore. We just go right into our Brown. That's actually really convenient. Do we do this again? I guess so. As long as it doesn't use Brown, it doesn't, so it's nice. And now we just need to hunt for a Brown. Okay, what do we need here? We'll take a skull, grab the Brown there, throw a key dead. Wow, that took way longer than it needed to. Yeah, leaderboard always requires at least 10 plus hours. I know when we first ended up doing it, it ended up taking about 12 hours per day. At least in the current state of the game back then. Well, some people play it on the go as well. And there's on the go a lot. Which kingdom is the Warrens attached to? I actually do not recall off the top of my head. I believe it was Pansvale. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe it was Pansvale. The next one that's coming in next Friday. Pretty sure it's Pansvale. See you, Ben. Have a good time with Netflix. I'm almost thinking of stopping soon, too. We hit our goal of getting level 90. And other than leveling hero class, there really isn't much else to do. It's like the only thing we really need to go do today. And the entirety of this weekend. As I mentioned earlier, we're not actually going to be streaming tomorrow morning. Just because we're literally just going to be doing this. And I would rather just be doing this between other stuff. But yeah, we're still going to be streaming on Christmas and all that. But, yeah, up to that point, we're pretty much just going to be doing a bunch of thief stuff. Try to get this thing finally maxed. What's annoying is I still need Titan for tonight. I guess technically we don't need it. We could switch our team, but the team works pretty nicely. Fortnite. I've never actually played Fortnite. I should do that on stream one day just to see how badly I fail. I know I hate the genre of gaming that it is, but I don't know, I've never specifically tried it. Still don't understand what all the buzz is about with it. But I haven't tried it yet, so who knows, maybe we will, just to see what it is. Try to waste a sigil on 500 all attempts. That wouldn't be too hard to do. It would just be really, really, really ridiculously time-consuming. Like, ridiculously time-consuming. Like, would it be here for another 2 to 3 hours if we did that? Though that would be an interesting video or stream concept. I don't know, maybe we will stream that sometime tomorrow. Maybe not the normal morning time, but I'll see. Because that would be interesting if we do one stream where the only thing we do is run every single current faction at level 500. And there's 5 of them. Problem is each one of those is going to take like 20 minutes each.
But I don't know, that'd make for an interesting stream. That'd be hard though. And we'd be using the same team for half the time. We'd be using the Mega 4 Weaver team. And the other times we'd be using some kind of version of Dragon's Eye. What are the best non-mythic PvP teams this patch? Exactly what we're using right now. Basically what we're using right now is the meta. Or one of the metas. The other meta that doesn't use anything that's mythic is Flame of Fire if you own it. Though you could also use Hero with Mountain Crusher and other similar things. Followed by Yagwe, Tapon, and Queen Titania. And that's one of the other pretty quick ones at the moment. And all of that is not mythic. Same as this team, nothing's mythic. Though Cetric's a little bit annoying to obtain. Because you can only find him in Vault Keys. Hello, Haley. Welcome. Oh, we didn't get full mana. There we go. Don't need full mana. Skill is goal. And down it goes. Wow, okay. I think they set that just so I could try saying its name. Catharix. Catharix? Catharix. I still don't know how to say that correctly. Though in all realisticness, if there was any name for me not to be able to pronounce, that's, I think, one I can get away with. Realistically, almost no one's going to pronounce that correctly. Oh, I'm not dealing with Titan with all that. That's too annoying. Way too annoying. Ever notice if you use Mang while entangled, you don't gain the attack when it wears off? Yeah, everything works like that. You're not allowed to gain attack while entangled, and you're not allowed to gain magic while webbed. Both of them are supposed to work like that. It was a change they made about 2 years ago to both the mechanics or so. Or somewhere around there. It was a while ago. But, yeah, you can't gain attack while entangled, and you can't gain magic while webbed. There's no version of it for HP or armor, though. I'm actually surprised they haven't made an HP or armor version of it yet. But, yeah, those two work for attack and magic. Entangle for attack and web for magic. No, that's actually fully intended, the way that it works. Because it was too broken the way it was before. Broken as in overpowered, not broken as in working incorrectly. At one point, you were actually able to unentangle with attack gain. So not only would you still gain the attack, but you would also still gain the, you would unentangle yourself. Of course, that can't be done anymore. I like how I go away from that team and I probably just clicked into an even stronger team. Actually, never mind. His stats are low. It shouldn't be that big a deal. Ah, excuse me. Oh, we almost hit all sixes. Close. Very close. Not quite. We only got 3 sixes. We'll probably have like 10 different screenshots of us hitting 4 sevens in a row. Yeah, I guess we'll go until we hit level 91 on Hero, and then call it a wrap for now. Actually, did we already hit it? No, we didn't yet. So it should take about another several battles. No, don't do that. There we go. What does Cedric kill? He has no damage stat that you can see. Oh, why does Cedric kill? What do you mean by that? The thing that makes Cedric kill... Oh, he can kill because he has Charm. He charms a random enemy. What Charm does is it makes them do their attack to the one below and above. So let's say we charm the KrissTigger. It would... I believe it's random, right? Yeah, charm a random enemy. But let's just say it charms the KrissTigger. It would do 35 damage to the one below and above. Do keep in mind that it ignores traits. So let's say it was the Van Barrack, and it did 28 to the one above and below. It would actually still deal exactly 28 to both. It would not apply any on-scroll effects, and it would just do the damage. So it wouldn't end up... never mind, he doesn't have Disease Touch. But it would hit through their traits. So even though this says 65% score reduction, it would still do 28. Even though this says 50% reduction, it would still do 28. Because it counts as spell damage. Yeah, that's what Cedric sometimes kills with. Of course, the main reason we're using him is for his gold gain, though, the 100% gold gain. That's the whole reason he's there in the first place. So technically, he's helping us kill every single battle by doing that. Even if he does absolutely nothing. The most viable charm currently in the game, there's 2 of them. There's Lust, and there's Wisp. I don't think there's a better one other than Wisp yet. Wisp used to be very, very good back when it had full empowered. But it still gets a really quick charm. And you get a board shuffle with it too, which makes it nice. It's automatic extra turn board shuffle. Normally board shuffle is awful, but extra turn board shuffle is not too bad. Especially with how quickly it gets it. What happened to the new faction release? It's next Friday, not this Friday. I believe it because it was the holidays and everything. I think originally they were going to do it this Friday, but then it got shifted back a Friday due to holidays. Since it's Christmas weekend and all that. Cedric's the team mascot. Or like the team meat shield. Followed by a bunch of eggs. Next faction is awful. Except for the Legend. The Legend actually seems insanely good. And I believe the faction after that's bringing in Bleed. I actually thought it was originally going to be this one, but it's actually the one after this one, I believe.
What teams would you recommend for Primal Rift? What color is that? Green, purple, right? I believe we ran Mang Skull Spam. Because you have purple, so you get a lot of different Skull Spam options. I'm pretty sure I ran something along the lines of Mang, Apothecary, Keeper of Souls, and Queen Aurora. Pretty sure that was the exact team I ran. You can replace out Queen Aurora with something else. But basically, your team should be Mang, Apothecary, and a brown Skull Spammer, ideally Keeper of Souls, so you could use literally anything that you feel like using. And then one other support troop as your 4th troop. I used Queen Aurora, though you could use other stuff if you want. Like Possessed King and whatever else you might use. That you have laying around. Sure, we can go look at the Bleed faction troops real quick. I don't think I've taken a look at them yet. I don't believe. I try not to because I know they're going to change things pretty much immediately. But let me see. Like, they're almost guaranteed going to be changed before they get released. Well, we can go peek at them real quick. If the website's up. Oh, never mind. It was only Gems of War database that was down. This is a completely different website. So they should be available. Yeah, let's go give it a shot. See what's up with them. Let me go make it in their own little tab so I can go show it on screen. Let's see. Let's move this over so I can actually see chat while I'm going over it. Let me zoom into it so it's not microscopic. And let me figure out where Nerf Bleed is after I sneeze. Okay, let's go see what this Bleed Kingdom's like. Or faction, I mean. So it's coming out in February. Right at the beginning of February. Right for Valentine's Day. Or, you know, a little bit before then. But, okay, let's go over everything Bleed related. I believe every single thing in this has Bleed, right? No, never mind. Wait, how many of them even have Bleed? Barely any of them Bleed. Let me see. Bleed. Let's see. Inflict Bleed, Inflict Bleed, Inflict Bleed, Inflict Bleed. Yeah, they all pretty much have Bleed. Anyways, let's go and check everything here. Make sure I get the other thing in there. Window capture. Where'd it go? Window capture, where are you? There you are. Okay, so Bleed mechanic off of not next faction. This one's coming in the beginning of February, which is basically the faction after this faction. It's coming out next week. But first off, we have give magic +1 attack to myself and all allies below me. So you'd pretty much always want to do that in first slot then. Explode a row. That's 16 mana cost. That's actually the legendary from this area. Interesting. He ends up inflicting bleed whenever he does skull damage. So basically, yeah, he's going to be able to get a 10 gigantic stack of bleed on it. That is 30% skull reduction. And wounds inflict bleed on a random enemy on red gem matches. Interesting. So he'd be able to... yeah, it's called Deep Wounds. But yeah, it inflicts bleed every single red that he takes. So you could red spam with him in order to bleed out the entire enemy team. That could potentially be a lot of bleed. His ability seems pretty underwhelming. But still, that's a lot of bleed. And probably the best bleed option we'll have since he's the legendary. At least for a while. Next up we have the rare. Deal magic +4 splash damage to an enemy, inflict poison and bleed. And that's actually a pretty decent synergy because they both do true damage. On all enemies hit by the spell, so that's 3 enemies, most likely. So that's actually pretty decent for only 10 mana cost. That's actually really, really good, especially since you keep stacking bleed. It has the razor sharp teeth thing again, in that it ends up getting bleed, extra magic from delves, and it starts with 75% mana, so you can just spam like 2 or 3 of them on your team and get a bunch of mana start. That's pretty good. Next up we have the ultra rare. Create 6 skulls, boosted by bleeding enemies at a 2x boost ratio, meaning he could theoretically get... how many skulls is that? 14 skulls he could theoretically get, assuming that the entire enemy team is bled. I assume it doesn't stack based on stacks, so I'm pretty sure a 4 stack and a 2 stack and a 1 stack, all that would be the exact same as far as how much a boost ratio is for. That'd be ridiculously overpowered if that wasn't the case. That would basically just be a whole board of skulls otherwise. I assume it's per troop, not per stack. Otherwise, that'd be so ridiculously overpowered. Gains a bunch of defense. Still has that bleed thing. I think all of them have this bleed thing. And it says a little bit of score reduction. And other than that, we have the epic. Choose a color. Create red gems equal to the number of gems of that color. Weird. So basically, whatever the most populated color is on the board is how many red gems you would get spawned. That's a weird mechanic. I wonder if you could choose red with that as well. Because if you keep spawning red, red's probably going to be the most populated color on the board. And it inflicts bleed on a random enemy. That basically creates a bunch of red and inflicts some bleed, which of course synergizes with the fact that this guy also needs a bunch of red. Not only for his ability, but also for his spamming of bleed. And other than that, he also has the razor teeth. Literally all of them have razor teeth. Pretty sure all 4 of them have razor teeth. Yes, 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 and yes. All 4 of them bleed on skull. Interesting. Yeah, that's a lot of bleed. Anyways, that's that. So, yeah, it looks nice. The legend and the rare, oddly enough, look like probably the 2 better ones. Though the shaman could potentially have... it depends how the shaman actually interacts on if it'll be good or not. But, I don't know, it could potentially be okay. But I feel like at the moment, the rare and definitely the legend would be the 2 better ones for bleed. But yeah, we'll see exactly how those pan out once we finally get to test them. Anyways, let me go close out this tab. There we go. Yeah, it's going to be 2 delves from now. That's not next delve. That's not next week. That's the one after next week. So, like a month from now. February 1st. Anyways, let me put this back. There we go. Get rid of this extra tab. Don't need that. If someone didn't have Crypt at level 20, should you keep the new faction there for farming? Yes. You should try keeping Crypt at level 20 forever. If you currently have Crypt at level 20, you should keep it at level 20 forever until they patch it out. If they ever patch it out. But, yeah, level 20 Crypt is the most overpowered thing in the entire game as far as Underworld is concerned. It is absurdly good resources for free. It's the best faction to do. And keeping it constantly at level 20 will make it very, very easy to gain resources. Well, you can always throw gems to try catching up, but yeah. You're going to have to prioritize what you go for eventually. Due to number of shards. Unless you start using blue orbs. To try to catch up. Blue orbs and gems. Are there going to be 30 factions? Probably, eventually. It would take, obviously, like 2 years before that happens. But there is a pretty good chance there'll be over 30 factions. There's a pretty good chance there'll be 1 faction per kingdom. And there's also a good chance that they might be adding slightly more kingdoms. Like, there is a possibility we might get a new kingdom next year. Probably only 1 if we do get one. But still, that's 1 more than we have now. But, yeah, eventually we'll have that many. Obviously, it will take a while, since they only had 1 a month. But it'll eventually get to that point. Oh, sorry, I misread that. Would it be worth keeping one of the new king factions at level 20? Yes. Basically, any faction is at 20 is still decent. Crypt happens to be the absolute best, but any faction kept at 20 is also fine. I personally don't do that just because I want to have as high stats as we possibly can. And because whenever a new faction comes out, I like to show it and everything. Of course, for videos and all that. But, yeah, realistically, we should be keeping one at level 20 in the current state of the game. I don't think they consider it an exploit, even though it's basically an exploit. But, like, they don't ban people for doing that. Even though you get a ridiculously good amount of resources from doing so. It was something addressed in the most recent Q&A, but they didn't really understand the question that well. How to get Doom Blade? It's impossible if you don't currently own it. I don't know if they're ever going to be bringing it back. They were available from the Doom event, but I don't think they're rolling them over. I think when it rolls back again, it's going to be completely different Doom weapons. I don't know how they're going to be bringing them back into the game if they ever do. Currently, if you don't own any of the Doom weapons, it's impossible to ever get them again in the current state of the game. That could change in the future, though, of course. But they still haven't really discussed how they're going to be doing old weapons back into the game. It's been an issue for a while now. They've never really addressed it. At least not yet. Hopefully next year they will. Yeah, most Delve Roar rewards are pretty trivial. The only thing you specifically need is to make sure you have enough shards for every single time a new faction comes out so that you can go upgrade the kingdom. Assuming it can upgrade a kingdom. Hey, no problem. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. We know pretty much everything in regard to the game. One of those battles where it just keeps going for a gigantic summon war, apparently. Atty's probably gonna win. I'd be so sad if Atty wins here. He just killed us. He actually beat us out. Really? Really? We're gonna lose like this. We're losing as a key team to a key team. Because he got luckier with his summons. What are the top 5 best hero classes to level first? Titan, hands down, is #1. Like, that's not even in question. Like, he is way, way #1. Like, he should just be the hero class he set forever. But other than that, follow-ups to that is a lot of different paths that you can do depending on what you want. I don't know if you could really actually put in categorical order. It's more so what you're specifically looking for, more so than anything. But as far as some of the other good ones, Thief, because it has 7 damage to the last enemy. It also has Stealthy, has half mana start, and has that instant kill thing. Assassin is the absolute best one with Skulls. What other ones? Frost Mage is really good on defend because it can freeze on any Guild War day. That's mainly what it gets used for. It also has pretty decent mana accumulation. And what other ones are not completely awful? There's a few other ones, but they're all used so very situationally. I guess Mech would be nice to have, just because there's a good possibility it'll be really viable whenever mechs become not awful. But no, it's really just, in the current state of the game, it's really just, pretty much Frost Mage, Thief, obviously Titan, Titan's always first, and maybe Dragon Guard, and maybe Assassin. Assassin just because it's really good with Skulls, and Dragon Guard just because it's fun to use Dragon teams. And who knows, maybe they'll finally add a half mana start Dragon. I can go through all of them real quick as far as what they're used for. It's just most of them you would never really need. So we can go through that really, really quick. Have I never done a video on it? Pretty sure I have, but we've definitely gone over it on stream several times, I know that. Anyways, what am I looking for? I'm looking for hero classes. But yeah, as far as what each one is used for, Archer, it's basically just used with Black Beast teams, and that's it. Assassin, best skull spam. Bard, it's basically used for the fact that it has immune to silence. It's also used with pure yellows. Death Knight, you use it with a Elspeth to kill it immediately to create purple with a purple weapon, and then that purple feeds into sacrifice, and then that sacrifice feeds something like a Crimson Bat, and then you kill everything in like one shot with Crimson Bat. Dragon Guard only used with dragons. Frost Mage only used for defend because it has blue, so you basically, or because it has freeze, and you basically use on Guild War days when you need a freeze option. Knight is useless, don't ever use it. Mechanist is pretty much useless. You only run it really with what's the team? Deep Bore, Double Bomb Bot, Black Manacle. Necromancer, you only use it for soul farming as an alternative to as a Purple Storm instead of Umbra Wolf. Oracle, basically useless. Orb Weaver, basically useless, though it is the only hero class currently with immune to mana drain. Priest, really good with Divines, but Divines have been pretty weak recently. Rune Priest, the only good thing about this is it has brown spam, just like how Titan does, so you can constantly keep gaining barrier to not die. So that's pretty nice. It also has Dispel. It's also good with Dwarves. Shaman, useless. Sorcerer, useless. Sunspear, useless. Thief, good with key teams. It's also has Stealthy with a few other combinations that are pretty nice. Stealthy, half mana start. Damage to last enemy. It's the only hero class that can actually infinite damage off of that too, efficiently. Titan can somewhat do it too off its explosion, all of them that do, but yeah, it has a lot of weird skill sets that actually make it somewhat okay. Titan, for the obvious reason, has barrier spam, has explosion spam, can be ran in basically every role in the game. It's basically what you should always have set. Warden is useless, and Warlock is useless. Though it is worth noting that I actually forgot to mention, Dragon Guard's pretty decent with triple skull damage off its skulls. There's a few hero classes like Warlord and stuff that when fully maxed, get triple damage to burning. I believe Dragon Guard currently uses the best. It was originally Mech, but they got rid of it on Mech for whatever reason. Otherwise, Mech would have been the best with it, but now it's Dragon Guard, if I'm not mistaken, as far as the best one that uses that triple burning. And actually is a pretty good mechanic, even though I don't personally use it much, or really ever. But it's still a pretty nice mechanic. Triple damage on burning enemies. And obviously that's pretty good with Infernus if you have Infernus. Which should be the first mythic you craft anyway, so you probably have it. Or if you don't have it, you should try getting it. It's definitely nice to have. Yeah, they really need to lower the timer or do something. They are doing something to modify it in the near future. I don't think they specifically disclose what they are going to be doing with it. But I believe they're reducing the timer, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully to what you said, something like 12 hours or something. It definitely needs to be way lower than it is now, maybe like 8 hours even. Or just get rid of it completely. Or, you know, just get rid of the problem in the first place. Yeah, no problem, Mark. But yeah, does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I believe we're going to slowly wrap up for now. We'll be back later in about 7.5 hours from now to go do Guild Wars and all that. But, I don't know, I believe for now we'll just kind of wrap up, because the only other thing we're really going to be doing is the same thing we've been doing the whole time, which is just answering questions and trying to level this thief up already. Try to get it to max. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful holiday, since it's right around the corner. We'll still be streaming on Christmas and everything at our normal time. And hopefully we'll have some shiny redeem codes. And I don't think I'll have any special redeem codes, but we'll give out a few for the occasion. And if it's just normal codes, we'll just hand out like 2 or 3 or 4 normal codes. Let's see, we'll get one more hit in there. And that'll be a wrap. Hey, wait, you haven't done Christmas shopping yet? It's 4 days away. That is some super last-minute shopping if you're just doing Christmas shopping now. But anyways, guys, I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much for coming down. Enjoy the holidays. And I will see y'all later. Target running normal hours on Christmas Eve? I would assume not. I'm pretty sure places would close a little bit early. Why wait so long, though? You have today, you have tomorrow, you have the other day. Like, go do it right now. Stop watching my stream and go do it right now. But anyways, guys, I'll see y'all later. Have a good weekend and enjoy the holidays. Goodbye, everyone.